Welcome to Malika's Flex. Welcome to everyone watching, whether you are watching in the moment or after the fact. Welcome and thank you for being here with us. Guys, I am super excited to have a representative from TPG Cultural Exchange with us this evening. I am super excited to get the interview rolling. Please remember that if you have questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section. Of course, we need to be respectful and everything. Let's be mindful of that. I will not be delaying any further. Without any further ado, let me add to the stage Miss Elsa Johnson. Welcome.
Hey, thank you, Malika.
We are happy to have you here. As you've heard on my platform, we are trying to navigate the international teaching opportunities that are out there, and we're just happy that you're here to help us to navigate the teaching opportunities that are there for us in the United States through TPG.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
just to get started, let me ask, can you just provide us with an overview of, what TPG is?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So TPG Cultural Exchange is a J1 Cultural Exchange teacher visa sponsor. So the J1 teacher visa is a 3 to 5 year non-immigrant visa for teachers to come and work here in the United States for 3 to 5 years. And then at the end of those 3 to 5 years, return home to their home country or go to another country abroad and share what you've learned from your time here in the United States, ideally with your home community.
Ah, I'm happy that you said that after the 3 to 5 years, you could perhaps go to another country because that's always been a question that I've had in my mind. Is it okay if I don't necessarily want to go to my home country, but I want to go to a different country? So that's okay. That
Yes, as
works.
per the J1 visa, it does get a little bit more complicated when we look at certain things, but
Um,
I wouldn't want to bore you with the details of that right
Okay.
now.
Okay. So, can you tell us how exactly does the program facilitate that cultural exchange between the international teachers and the U.S. education system?
That's a great question. So we have a lot of teachers here already in the United States, and one of the great things about TPG is that our teachers come together as an international community in each of the areas that we work in. So, for example, in one of our cities, you'll find a community of teachers already here living and working with TPG and with the school community as well. So, one of the amazing things about that is that not only are you bringing your culture and sharing your culture with your school community, you're also becoming part of the TPG community and sharing your cultures with each other. We are currently working with teachers from 25 countries, and that goes up every year with teachers coming from different countries joining the mix. And yeah, we love to encourage our teachers to share with each other, and to obviously share with their school community in the US as well. In terms of how you share your culture with the school, with the students, with your community, you are welcome to do that wherever, whenever you want to do that. We would love for you to, bring your culture and be proud of it and to wear it on your sleeve. Part of the J1 visa specifically is to complete cultural activities. So part of the visa requirement is that every single year you have to complete 2 cultural activities. One is sharing your culture with your community. So that could be with your students, it could be with staff, it could be with your apartment complex, it could be at your place of worship.
Mhm.
And that's an opportunity for you to share your culture. I've eaten a lot of food. I've gone to a lot of potlucks. I've seen dancing. I've seen performances, all kinds of things. The second activity, which is really exciting for the students, is connecting students in the United States to students in your home country or the country that you worked in before you come to the United States. The
Mm.
students love the opportunity to connect. We see a lot of teachers doing things like Zoom calls or other virtual calls between classrooms, setting up pen pal systems, writing postcards. making videos and sending them back and forth, even doing shared projects between two classrooms across the world. So there's lots of opportunities to share your culture here in the US as part of this visa.
Oh, one of the things that you said that I'm happy that you said is that you have currently, worked with teachers from over 25 countries around the world, because many of the teachers that are here, they're always asking, can I apply from my country? Is my country eligible? So yes, you're here and you are welcome to apply, everyone.
Yes, everybody's welcome to apply.
Right. And could you tell us, in terms of being eligible, who exactly is eligible to apply with TPG?
Yeah, good question. So one thing that I would like to point out is that all of the information that I'm talking about is available on our website, which is tpgculturalexchange.com. The eligibility criteria for TPG are the same as the Department of State eligibility criteria for the J1 visa. So there's a number of companies out there that are doing very similar things to what TPG is doing. But the basics, if you're interested in coming to the US on a J1 visa, are that you need to have a minimum of 2 years working experience as a classroom teacher in a K through 12 setting. You need to have the equivalency of a US bachelor's in education. Now, that looks different for people all over the world. For example, I can tell you that most of our teachers coming from the Caribbean, that would be your bachelor's in whatever subject that might be, and your teaching diploma that would give you that equivalency. So it's not a US bachelor's in education that we're asking for,
Right.
it's the equivalency of that US bachelor's in education. And it does look a little bit different depending on where you come from.
Okay.
You must also be currently working as a teacher. So if you're looking at this opportunity, but you're not in the classroom right now, I would encourage you to think about getting back into the classroom and opening up those doors.
Wow. Okay, thank you for that bit of information. Could you walk us through what the application process looks like, from the moment we apply to afterwards? What is it looking like?
Yeah, definitely. So we have an online application for TPG, and that again is on our website. We ask that you complete that application on our website as fully as possible. We understand that you might not have all of the documents to hand and you might need to pause and come back to it or provide something at a later date, but we would ask that you try to give as much detail as possible. We then look at that internally with our team to make sure that you do qualify for the visa and for the program. There are a series of interviews with our team to make sure that you're a good fit for the program and ready to come and work in the United States. And then after that, we set you up for interviews with schools and principals. Now, should you be selected by a principal or by a school district here in the United States, we'll help you with the visa process and then help you when you arrive in the United States as well. One thing that's really important to mention at this point in time is that TPG does not charge any fees. So, there are costs along the way. You have to book your visa appointment, for example. You're going to have to book a flight. But along the journey, there is nothing that you're going to have to pay to TPG as a TPG fee.
Lovely, lovely response, because that once again is something else that my viewers and subscribers always ask. How much is it? How much would it cost? Do I need to pay anything directly to the program sponsor? Here you have it, guys. No.
Yeah. Everybody does it a little bit differently, but TPG is free for our teachers.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So given that it's free, you all remember you can apply. The application is on the website. I've also put it in the description box below so you guys can click on it and apply. Could you tell me though, what benefits and supports does TPG have to offer, the teachers who are participating on this program?
Yeah, good question. So as I mentioned, we are with you the entire time that you're working through this process. So while you're working through your visa steps, our team is very familiar with how all those visa steps work, as well as the local embassies, and we're able to kind of tailor that assistance to our understanding of how things are working locally for you. when you first arrive, or before you arrive in the United States, our team that is based here in the United States, we have what are called program managers who are local to the regions that our teachers are working in. And they will work with you so that you can best understand what's in store for you in terms of housing, in terms of transportation, in terms of, the area and what you might need to look and think about.
Right.
One thing I am going to mention here is that TPG does not provide any housing or transportation. We believe that you are the best judge for your individual circumstances. We want you to be able to make your own decision, of where you want to live and what suits you. So that is different from some other people. What we will do is do our best to help you and to assist you. And we will work with your community to see if there are the best options in that community, places that will work with you without a social security card, for example, or places that will offer a special deal because you're coming to work as a teacher. So we work with you in that way to kind of make sure that, the path is there, and you can choose whether or not you want to take it. After arrival, the local program manager is also again there to work with you. Just make sure that you're settling in, making sure you're making it to all your appointments, making sure you're getting into work, and then that same program manager continues to support you for your entire time in the United States, as well as the rest of the TPG team.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And how would you say that TPG assists teachers in terms of their professional development while they're here in the US?
Very good question. So we offer an ongoing webinar series that is held in-house. Some of our team members are ex-educators and US educators at that. So they offer sessions on things like classroom management, speaking to parents, working with disruptive behaviors in the classroom, some of which are new and challenging to our teachers who have recently arrived in the United States. And we also work with the school districts to encourage extra professional development opportunities for the teachers.
Nice. This is sounding good thus far. And I hope that, people are really listening in, taking notes, because that's pertinent information. How exactly is placement done with TPG? Can teachers, just say which states? I don't think I asked previously the states that TPG, operates in. Let me ask that first. Let me put that in there first.
So TPG is currently working to hire teachers in Florida, South Carolina, and North Carolina.
Okay.
And in terms of how we work with our teachers for placement, we always inform you of the opportunity that's being presented for the interview session. So, for example, I might say, Malika, there's an opportunity for you to interview with, Orlando, Florida. Would you like to, take part in this interview? We want to try and give everybody the opportunities, no matter what. You are able to indicate a preference or a reference that you have in a particular area. So let's say you've got family in a particular area, or you've got a friend who's, living in a certain city.
Right.
We can note that, and we do reference that note as we set up interview opportunities. But we also want to balance that with making sure that you're getting the opportunities. Obviously, there are different needs in different areas, different needs in different schools, and we're not always able to match that perfectly. We just want to make sure that you're getting in front of interview panels and that you're getting the opportunity to come and get this visa.
Right. And this is something that I've said multiple times on my channel that, as you said, you may want to work in a particular area, but you're missing an opportunity because if this area doesn't have a high demand for your subject area, for example, then you may want to just hop onto whatever it is that is being provided right now. So I'm happy that you said it yourself. Can teachers switch schools? Let's say I've heard teachers saying that just teachers in general, some teachers who have worked here before, they didn't like their school at first because it happens from time to time. Are teachers allowed to switch? How does this work?
We do have a transfer process, but it's very limited, and there's a couple of different reasons for that. Sometimes, we recognize that a particular location or like geographic location might not be the best fit for that teacher, and we will, support them as needed to make sure that they can be where they need to be. For the majority
Right.
of teachers, what we often find is that in the first year, you really are adjusting to being in that school and to working with that community. And what I hear is that, I get a lot of people saying, oh, I want to transfer, I want to transfer. What we usually say is give it one more year. And by the end of the second year, most teachers are like, no, I've got it now. I understand my community. I understand my school. I understand my position. And our teachers are just feeling a lot more confident in themselves after having that full 2 years of teaching in that American school. And they're ready and willing to keep on working on that relationship. So that's something we want to
Right.
encourage because it's beneficial for you as a teacher in most cases, but also beneficial for your students to give them that consistency, to give them that strong role model of somebody who wants to be there, wants to be with those students, wants to share themselves with the community. We want to do what's best for the students as much as possible.
Okay. Thank you. I'm seeing where questions are popping in now in the comment section. I was wondering why the comment section was a little empty at first, because I know my subscribers and supporters, they are usually in the comments. I guess they were shy at first, and after the first person gave their first question. But I want everyone to know we will be looking at questions at the end, so keep the questions coming. We will be answering a few of those questions towards the end, and I'm almost finished. So as you said previously, the J1 visa that is being issued by or through the help of TPG, it is usually lasting for 3 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Some teachers fall in love and they're like, I want to stay. Is there are there any restrictions where the 212E rule is concerned, stating that teachers, must return to their home countries for 2 years? Are there any penalties for teachers who take up a waiver?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question.
Heavy question.
Yes, heavy question, but an important one if you're seriously considering either
Yes.
path, right? So as I said, the J1
Right.
visa is a non-immigrant visa, and TPG Cultural Exchange is
Right.
a designated visa sponsor, designated by the Department of State to maintain and carry out that J1 non-immigrant visa. So with that in mind, there is no pathway to immigration through this visa, and it is TPG policy that if we learn that you have applied for a waiver, you would be terminated and the visa would be terminated, because the purpose of this visa is for you to come to the United States for 3 to 5 years to bring your culture with you, learn from the US culture and US school system while you're here, and then take that away with you to share with your home community.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Like I said, that's a heavy question, but one that needs to be asked nonetheless. Could you tell us what are some of the challenges that some international teachers tend to face while they're in the US? It's a new environment and
Yeah,
everything.
Malika, I think as an international teacher yourself, are probably going to be able to give me some of these answers. I would personally say that no matter how much experience you have, no matter how long you've been in the classroom in your home country, classroom management in the United States is something new and it's something to adapt to, and everybody has to learn how to work with that system. Would I be right in saying that?
Right. Oh, yes.
So that would
Yes,
be
100%.
my biggest one, is that the teachers coming to the United States need to have an open mind, and they need to be prepared and ready and understanding of, maybe my management techniques that I've been using back home might not work for these students. I might need to adapt. I might need to listen to, what my
Yes.
administration is telling me. I might need to do the professional development. I might need to do the training to get to where I need to be with this classroom. So that would be my number one. Other challenges, I mean, homesickness, right? Moving away from home for a lot of teachers, moving halfway across the world, things are going to be different culturally in America. And I think something else that does really come into play is that the US is a country that is very much based on the ideal of being independent and being an individual. It's not, a lot of things here in the United States are based on you doing it yourself. Are you reaching out for help, you communicating things, you listening to things, you doing your own thing. And that's across everything. That's at school, that's, with the banking, with sorting out phone, with like sorting out things with your apartment.
Right.
Around the world, there are different emphases on community and leaning on one another, and that doesn't necessarily exist in the same way in the US. So those would be my two biggest things that I find a lot of our teachers adapt to. But I do want to say that our teachers are successful in adapting to those things. The vast majority of our teachers stay for the full 5 years in the US.
Yeah. And that's why, as you said earlier, even if you're having issues in your first year, just stick it out. It takes time to adjust. So yeah, I agree with your challenges, by the way, definitely. You had already covered accommodations earlier on. You also spoke about the fact that the only fees that teachers would need to pay are, the visa application fee that does not go to you.
Yeah, and we have a
Fees.
table of that on our website as well. So if you are interested in seeing what fees would occur working with us but not paying to us, it's all on our website.
Right. Right. I wanted to know in 2024, because inflation and everything, how much money would you say that a teacher would need, coming in perhaps in the first month, you're not paid until the first month or whenever everything is sorted out. How much money would you advise teachers to try to save up and come into the country with?
Yeah, good question. And I've got two-parter for my answer. So first of all, I would encourage teachers to save and budget diligently. First of all, take a look at, just Google online, take a look at what the US dollar is in comparison to your own home currency. And then maybe take a quick look at, average school district, average teacher pay in America. You don't even have to be specific. Take a look at how much it costs to rent an apartment, how much it costs to get gas, how much it costs to get groceries. There's lots of websites out there that really lay that out for you in different regions of the US. I think the most important thing is that comparison to your home currency and what you think that, your savings would equate to bringing over to the United States and what you might need to do to think about that. I would say just to be diligent. We at TPG understand that, currencies don't align necessarily in the best of ways when you're coming to the United States, but it's important to try and have a cushion if possible, just for your own mental well-being, to know that you have those savings there to support you if you need them. The second part of my answer is that TPG does provide an interest-free loan of $3,000 upon your arrival in the United States. And as soon as you open a US bank account, that loan is available to you. And the loan is recouped over a period of 5 months, a little later on in the school year. So it's there to help get you set up with your housing in particular. And it's available to all of our teachers.
How soon? Oh, you did say as soon as you set up your bank account and whatnot. Okay. That sounds good. I did not know that. That's good information. I hope everyone is listening. Because I do know that many teachers coming in do need some financial assistance, and I do believe that $3,000 is really good. All right. So that was actually my last question. I'm going to head over into the comment section just to take a look at some of the questions that were asked. So Stacy Ann Johnson is asking, are participants allowed to bring dependents with them in the initial stage of coming to the US? I guess prior to 90 days. I guess that's what they're referring to as the initial stage.
Yeah, so good question. TPG has two paths for bringing your dependents to the United States. The first path is to bring your dependents with you directly upon arrival. So you'd be working on your visa processes at the same time. If you choose to take this option, what we ask for is a proof of funds and a proof of reasonable budget and planning for your arrival, and living and working in the area that you're going to be in. So the proof of funds that we are requiring is for a minimum of 5,000 US dollars. Well, again, we understand that international currencies don't necessarily match up, and an easy way to allow for that. However, it is really important to have that in place alongside that budget and plan for your arrival, just to make sure that everybody is going to be safe and secure. We are particularly concerned with making sure that children are going to be safe, and the vast majority of our teachers do not take that first option. The second option is that you wait for 60 days after your arrival in the United States. In those 60 days, you're doing all of your appointments, you are moving into your accommodation, you're getting settled at school, you're learning how to do your job. There's a lot of chaos, right? Malika, I'm sure you'll agree from your experience. There's a lot of things to do. And after those 60 days, you've had a couple of paychecks, and you're ready to think about bringing your family. If you apply for your dependents to join you at that point, there's no proof of funds required, there's no proof of budget or planning required. You can just apply, and as long as your dependent is eligible for the J2 visa, they'd be able to go forward with their visa application.
I really agree with Elsa. You really need the time to settle in. So
it's hard. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's very difficult to leave family behind. And often, we're talking about young children, and it's very, very difficult. If you don't think that you're ready to take that step, then I would, sit back, take another year, and think about, giving it a little bit longer. It is emotional, it is tough, but having that time is important.
Right. Natasha Tyrell, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that name correctly, says, I will have 2 years of full-time teaching experience this July. Can I still apply this school year? I guess because you said that you need 2 years of experience. Would this count?
Yeah, I would encourage you to still apply with us. And if our team takes a look at everything and thinks that you do need to hold off for another year, we would be able to tell you.
Okay. Yannick, once again, I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly, is asking, what are the subject areas that are available? Or I guess, what subject areas are you recruiting for?
Good question. So we are always on the lookout for what we call critical need subject areas. And these are special education, math, science, and right now we are really in the market. We are really looking to hire some English teachers. So if you are an English teacher watching this, I would love to see you apply. And also elementary teachers as well are always in demand across the board. We do get some requests for other subject areas, but those are our most common requests.
So you were saying that if I teach art or music that's not in demand at the moment, I could still apply because there may still be a chance.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. All right. Doris said, I made my application online on December 18, 2023, but I have not seen any progress in my application. Is it that Doris needs to wait a little bit more?
Yeah. December 2023 is actually fairly recent in terms of us working through the applications. So just hold on and be patient, and we'll be able to get to you. I actually see a few questions in the chat about applications and getting back to us.
Right.
Thankfully, a lot of these comments have people's names on them. So one of the things I'll be doing after we finish this chat is I'll be making sure all of your names are relayed to the recruitment team.
Nice. Awesome. Can I apply now for August 2024 start?
That would depend, like I said, on the subject area and the demand for that subject area. We are currently in interviews with schools and school districts in the United States for that August 2024 start.
Right. Okay. Oops. This one just I saw one. Okay. Should one wait on Boniface says, should one wait until he gets a passport before starting an application?
You, this is tricky. I would recommend it, definitely, because you were definitely going to need one if you are approved and you move through to the next steps. Um, but I would recommend getting a passport. Yeah, would recommend a
Right.
passport.
Isaac is asking why I'm skipping his question. Isaac, I believe Elsa actually responded. Someone else asked a question similar to yours regarding applications and when you'll get a response. So I'm not, asking the same questions twice. Is a driver's license compulsory? Foster is asking.
No, it's not compulsory for TPG. However, a lot of the areas that we do work in, and Malika will agree with me, across the United States in general, it can be very beneficial to have a car. So if
Right.
you are interested in driving in the United States, I'd encourage you to think about that.
Yep. Do you take age into consideration when accepting applicants? I get this question a lot about age.
Yeah, no, we've got no age limit on the applicants and the candidates we work with. We work with, I think our youngest teacher is something like 22, and our oldest teacher, I think, is in her 60s. That we work with right now. It's not about age, it's about frame of mind. It's about being ready and open and, ready to take the opportunity and ready to change the way that you are used to working in. And it's about being flexible. So it's not about age, it's about state of mind.
Okay, wonderful. Genevieve Beckford is asking if I want to start January 2025, when is the best time to start the application process?
So TPG doesn't do mid-year hiring. So we work with all of our teachers to come and arrive in the United States in July or August. We don't do January arrivals as much as possible. So I would encourage you to apply now if you're ready to, and then we'd be able to work with your application. And if you wanted to join us in 2025, you'd be able to let our team know that.
Okay, thank you. Margot, I'm going to respond to Margot's question. When you leave the children, do I have to go back for them or can they travel by themselves? Usually that's a personal, I would believe, a personal decision. I know that airlines have it in place where you could pay for someone to accompany your child on the airplane, or you could travel back to your country if you want to, but that's not something that would be stipulated by TPG.
Yeah,
I hope I
correct.
did that
Correct.
correctly. All right, and one last question. No more questions, you guys. Stacy and Johnson is asking, do teachers get paid monthly or biweekly in the school districts that you do placements in?
It depends on the school district. So I don't have a clean answer for you there. Some of them are bi-weekly and some of them are monthly.
All right. I think we've gone through our applications open now. I believe we did say you could go ahead and apply. It's hiring
Yes,
season.
yes. Applications are open year round, but we do have busy seasons. So like I alluded to earlier, it might take you a little while to hear back from a recruiter at this point in time because it is one of our busiest seasons. But please just be patient with our team. We do respond to everybody.
Oh, this is a good question I forgot to ask that Janelle just popped up with. Is the program for high school students or primary age? Elementary, high school, kindergarten?
Yeah, we work with teachers across all K through 12 settings. So that's from kindergarten all the way up through 12th grade.
Everyone. All right. Thank you guys for your questions. And thank you, Elsa, for being here with us. You have been very informative. I'm pretty sure that everyone can say that they now know something that they perhaps did not know before. As Elsa told us earlier on, this information is on TPG's website. If you are looking to apply, I did put the application link in the description box below so you all can just click I made it easier for you all. But if you want to know the full information, you'll have to go to the website and look at that. As Elsa said, this is a busy season for the company right now. So I am completely grateful that she took the time out to speak with us about teaching in the US, how you could apply, what it involves. We are grateful here at Malika's Flex. I call my subscribers my flexers. So the flexers, we thank you so much. Stacy and says, awesome session. Thank you, Stacy. So thank you guys for watching. Remember to give this video a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. Remember to apply. TPG is at its hiring season right now, the peak of it. They're busy, you guys, as Elsa said. So please don't kill them for not responding. Thank you guys, and bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good weekend.